Phthalates make you fat. And it's actually so bad that all of these different advocacy groups banded together and actually sued the FDA because they have illegally refused to address the issue of phthalates in our food. So I'm going to break it down for you, but I'm also going to tell you how it's easy to avoid. There have been many studies showing that phthalates, which is one chemical that comes out of plastic, makes you fat. It also leads to lots of other really bad things like infertility and cancer and neurodevelopmental issues, low testosterone in men. There have been many studies in the past showing that phthalates could potentially be an obesogen. This one in particular looked at 829 adolescents and 3,900 adults, looked at how many phthalates they had in their body and how much weight they gained over time. And so they found greater exposure to phthalates was associated with a greater percentage of body fat in all males. Now, there's a handful of restrictions on certain phthalates with the CPSC and at certain states like California. They're completely unregulated in our food supply at the federal level. It's so bad that a coalition of environmental groups sued the FDA for allowing phthalates in plastic food packaging because those chemicals have found to leach at super alarming rates, as shown with the plastic list study that I've been talking about, and present a serious health risk, especially for developing children. Since 2016, the FDA has illegally ignored petitions or rejected demands to revoke the safety authorization status for these phthalates, but the FDA has refused to do that, and it is illegal for the FDA to ignore petitions. And so part of the reason that we still have phthalates in our food supply is literally because of industry pressure on the FDA from the American Chemistry Council, right? So the American Chemistry Council is basically the lobbying group for all of the chemical manufacturers. DuPont and 3M, all of the plastic manufacturers and chemical manufacturers, they are all part of this lobbying coalition, and they are the American Chemistry Council. The coalition that filed this lawsuit first petitioned the FDA back in 2016. It highlighted decades of scientific evidence linking the chemicals to health risks, especially for children. So the FDA didn't respond to that petition for 5 years, which is illegal. Legally, the FDA is required to respond within 6 months. In 2022, the agency denied the petition, arguing that industry had already abandoned food contact use for most phthalates, which is a fucking lie. So the groups appealed, but the FDA upheld its decision this past October, allowing phthalates to continue to be used without any restrictions at all. Phthalates are used in pesticides. Phthalates are then used in other parts of the processing as well. And so what you get is like 10 different phthalates in one food because of all the different places that it's used during the processing of that item. Yeah, so how do you avoid this? You avoid it by having as much fresh and unprocessed foods as you possibly can. Certainly, it's not just from the packaging, it comes from the processing. Avoiding anything that was like pre-cooked that you're reheating, certainly. And getting organic will help. It won't eliminate the amount of phthalates you have, but certainly that will help. Certainly, European products in general have way less phthalates than American products, but you should be trying to eat as fresh and unprocessed as you possibly can. That is the best way to avoid all the gnarly shit that's in our food.